Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all you netball lovers, welcome to another exciting Tell It As It Is. This time around, talking something, someone that is very passionate about the development of sports, just looking at the growth of netball within schools, making sure that there are quite a number of tournaments as well that are taking place just so that our netball players are active from a very young age. And we are joined now by the schools, South African Schools Netball. What is it? South African Schools Netball. Yes, Chairperson Dai Woolley. Dai, good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on your podcast today.
Thank you so much for making the time. Dai, as far as I can think, you've been involved in netball. You know, when I think schools netball, I just see Dai Woolley. Let's take it back and your journey in netball. How far does it go back?
Well, my journey in netball started in 1984.
I wasn't born.
And it was by pure fighting with the system of selection of children that I got involved. I was a young teacher at Benoni High, involved with netball, and my children asked me one day to go with them to the trials. And at the trials, they said, okay, everybody go and sit this side that played last year, and then we'll see what we still need to select. So I said, but that can't be. I mean, you've got to have proper selection. So they said, well, that's the system. If you want to change it, get involved.
Sure.
So needless to say, at the end of that year, there were elections, and I stood for every possible portfolio that there was. I didn't get elected, but I was appointed as the manager of the provincial team at that stage. And off I went to the national tournament the following year, and things were not right there. And then I said, no, we've got to stop injustices towards children. And that's where my journey in netball started. And I was still very involved with athletics. Athletics was my first love. And it came to a stage where the then South African schools netball needed to get involved with unity talks around about 1992, before the new South Africa. And I was one of the few people that could speak English because it was a very Afrikaans sport. Myself and Zach Buerter. So we were sort of forced into going along and having these unity talks, because otherwise how are we going to communicate and get people to listen to us? And it was a very exciting time to see how things came together and everything else. And that's where my journey started. And from there, it just went on. I was part and parcel then of the national committee. And when Loki stepped down, I was elected, and I've been re-elected since, who knows, time immemorial, democratically, not self-appointed, because we do believe in democracy. We believe in all the beauty and the fair play in netball. So, that's my brief journey.
Yeah. And how has it been when you look at it and you're just introspecting on the journey you've had? How would you summarize it?
I would say fulfilling. A couple of bumps along the way, but every bump that you hit, you learn something new, and then you get up and you improve and you look better. And I think we are now reaching so many children. If I think of the disability groups that we're working with, the SID, the MID, the deaf, the rural. We have farm schools festivals in a lot of our provinces. We have primary schools, we've got mini netball, and we've got preschool netball. We play Fast Five, and there's just so much happening now that when one looks back, you realize that with teamwork on a committee, you can achieve so much.
And what a great place to start at schools. You know, this is where you develop them at the right age. How one would say the players are there, so it's easy for you. Is it like that?
No, it's not that easy, because you must remember you've got another team that gets involved, and it's called parents. And it's great to have parental support. It's really great. But parents need to realize that their children must develop at their pace, not the pace that the parents want them to develop. And I think that's one of the obstacles we have, is that parents want to push their children into things which they're not sometimes ready for. And then they get disgruntled when things don't work out for them. But those little children, all they want to do is just play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the mini netball festivals that we have, and those kids just want to play. Those parents and the grandparents, they're just so involved, and it's exciting. I mean, even when you start working at primary school level and secondary school level, the parents that are just supportive and that give everything on the children that get so much further, those that push their children, sometimes they give up. And that's what's sad, because there's a lot of children that get lost from between school level and federation level because they've just had enough. And there's a lot of talent that goes missing. And then, of course, there's the thing about tertiary education. Not everybody can go to university. So the club system, I think, it's growing, yes, but I think it's still failing a lot of our children because they don't know where to go. Where's the next step? And you can't help all of them. But I think it's wonderful that we're now working together and that there's been the synergy between federation and schools. And I do believe it's continuing in its growth.
Sure. I can't help but think netball is played in almost every school out there. How many schools?
Well, there's 27,000 schools in the country. Obviously, some of them are just boys' schools. Others are schools that don't do sport. They're more focused on academics, and that's becoming a bigger problem at the moment because the education system doesn't want matrics to do sport.
Correct.
They've got to focus on their matrics. And yes, I understand that matric is important, but I also believe that your grade R up to grade 11 is equally as important. And if one can have a good sound system of sport and academics, you will have a sound academic record at the end of the day, because a healthy brain is the breeding ground for where sport starts. If you are fit, you can think so much more clearly. When you've gone on a run and done a bit of exercise, there's more oxygen to the brain, so you can think so. But as I say, a lot of our principals in schools are stopping the matrics from playing and encouraging them rather to just do academics throughout the year. And yes, I'm an academic person myself, being a teacher at heart. Academics is important, but I believe there needs to be a balance.
Kids from a young age, let's say primary school, 6, 7, 8 years old, we know that their attention span is quite, they lose focus quickly. How do you then work with kids, that young versus high school kids? They know how to, focus if it's netball time. But with kids, how does it work?
Well, you work with their attention span, and you give them small things to do, small tasks to accomplish, and that way you get them involved. You don't do the same thing over and over and over because then they get bored.
Yes.
Then I'll rather go and run somewhere else and say, oh, look, mommy, this is what I'm doing, instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing. So you don't push them. That's why we play at mini netball, they play all the positions. Every game, they rotate one position. And yes, it teaches them a holistic thing so that it's not the same thing. I know there's a lot of resistance to teaching that, but if you have a look at the children that have been through a mini netball program, those are your people that can play in any position when they reach senior level. And you can speak to those people and they'll tell you, I started with mini netball.
Sure. Interesting. Let's talk about the current state of schools netball, right? And the opportunities that come with it. You and I earlier were talking about the number of tournaments now, that kids can compete in. Let's talk about the opportunities that come with playing netball in schools.
Well, yes, the sky's the limit.
Mm.
Obviously, the obstacle is finance, but through everything, netball has consistently been there for the child.
Mm.
We have both national selected teams, like what we're playing at the moment at the TNC. We've just recently had the All Ages, and next week we're going to be in Durban with the Winter Games. And then we also have a national school-based tournament. And if I can be so bold as to say, we are the only sporting code in the country that has one of those.
Sure.
There's no other sporting code that has a national school-based event. So we've got the primary school champs, secondary schools champs.
Wow.
We've got the DSTV championships for the under-19s, and then we've got the Motsepe championships for the under-15s. Then we've got our Fast Five a bit later in the year. And then the opportunities that are there is, last week at the All Ages, we selected a national under-16 team. This week, we're selecting a national under-17 team, and those two teams next month are going to Eswatini to participate in the Kusasa Games in Africa, and I believe it's a good place to start in Africa before you go international. And then the winning two teams at the Motsepe Championships with the under-15s have an opportunity in November to go and participate in an international schools championships in Singapore.
Sure. You're mentioning big names, the Motsepe Foundation, DSTV. How impactful has such partnerships been in terms of making this dream become a reality for these kids?
Well, as I said earlier, it's about finance. Now they've put in enough finance to assist in getting these children opportunities and to progress, because the Motsepe Foundation, for argument's sake, pays for those two teams to go to Singapore. DSTV puts in millions of rands so that we can have linear TV at our championships, and they give us super sport schools and all those opportunities of bringing children in, paying for accommodation, paying for transport, things like that, where a lot of our children would not have had. And so, yes, we give equally to both the haves and the have-nots because we don't want to discriminate. And currently we run two streams in our schools, the Ubuntu and the Botu.
Yes.
While it means the same thing in two different languages, the one is for the previously disadvantaged and the other one is for the advantaged schools. But I think our development is of such a stage that we, within the next couple of years, are going to scrap Ubuntu and Botu and have one stream, because we've seen those schools that have progressively progressed into the Ubuntu, from Ubuntu into Botu, are holding their own. So, yes, there will still be schools that will feel, I'm never going to get to the top. But you're not going to get to the top until you have an aspiration to get to the top, and you've got to compete with the good ones.
Man. Let's talk about now, I can hear there's a whole lot of support, for players. Let's talk about the development of coaches at that level. What are you doing to support those as well?
Well, we do follow the pathway of coaches with Netball South Africa. We also grade our umpires and at all our national events, selected teams, same as we're doing here. However, the courses for the coaches does become a little bit tight. And I must say government has been coming to the party in most provinces where they have given some money for some development, but I don't believe that it's near enough. So much more can be done. And I think if there can be a partnership between government and federations through SASCOC to make these courses more accessible to people. Maybe we will fast track this, but it's slow, but we're getting there. We do say if you come to a national tournament, you must have at least a level 1 coaching. You've got to have at least a level 3 umpires exam and have gone through the ranks in the province.
You mentioned there was the all ages in Boksburg last week. How big are these tournaments now?
Well, we talk about 1,500 children at a push, and then, of course, all the parentals that are there. So it becomes quite a big event. But just to see the joy on the kids' faces,
Yeah.
and are people sometimes unhappy and disgruntled? Yes, they are, because my child wasn't selected or my child's not playing enough or whatever, but we try to be fair. We've got checks and balances in place. Are they foolproof? No, they're not, because it's like anything in the world. You have rules, but people are always innovative to find ways to break them.
Yeah.
So we always try to stay one step ahead. But it's great to see so many kids coming together and singing together and cheering together. And our tradition at the all ages, and it's something that I would dearly like to have at the TNC as well, is we have an opening every morning where we do a little bit of a motivational talk and just tell the kids, there's more to life than just netball. We try and teach them values. Part of our projects that we have in the provinces and at national is we have special projects. So this year our special project is we've asked provinces to bring medals, and those medals we're going to be giving to the archaeology departments, where particularly for kids that have gone through their chemo, they get a medal. So doesn't matter what's on the medal, it's for that. And we've also asked for players to bring soft toys this year for those cancer patients, because they, and you've got something to hold on to. It just gives you a little bit of, okay, somebody cares. So, we've made banners with values on that talks about excellence. Because it's the girl child, we feel it's really important to promote things like health and wellness, looking after yourself as a woman, promoting womanhood. Because at the end of the day, the world has lost the focus, I think, of that which is important, and they focus on things which are less important. We teach our children that vaping, smoking, things like that's not cool. Yeah. Although for everybody they seem to be cool.
It may look cool.
So, it's a tough job. It's really a tough job.
We're at this exciting tournament, the TNC. It's growing year by year. Talk to us about, the partnership, Netball South Africa, Telkom coming in, and we're just seeing kids are excited, and it's just exciting vibes. How do you feel about this tournament?
I think it's great because it's the next step. We've taken our under 17s and 19s away from all ages, so that they can have the exposure of what happens at a federation tournament without having all the other things that go on at a federation tournament with adults, because we all know that adults can sometimes get a little out of hand, after the game and so on. So the children are not exposed to that yet, but they are exposed to what's waiting for them in the pipeline for what lies beyond. So and I think that partnership is something which can grow, and people look forward to the TNC. It's become a household name.
Definitely. Yeah. And having national coaches here as well serves as some sort of an inspiration.
Yeah. Oh, now I can go and chat to somebody.
Yes.
It would be nice to maybe have a few more of the Protea players around. I know that's not always possible because some of our teams are playing in Namibia currently. But it would be nice to have, because children have got icons. We might not think so, but they know who's who in the zoo.
Most definitely. Let's talk about inclusivity. And we do have, the visually impaired, there's deaf netball now. Do we see schools are also involving the disability sports?
Yeah, well, our winter games, we have solely this year for the LSIN, which is our MID, mildly intellectually impaired,
Okay.
the SID, which is severely intellectually impaired, and the deaf. And so those are the 3 disabilities we're sending to the Winter Games in Durban, and we're going to try and get them to go and watch one of the TNL games on the 14th as well, to just give them a bit of a broader horizon. And I said to you earlier, I've learned a lot about sign language.
Yeah.
Whether it's the right sign language, I don't know, but I do understand, and I can make myself known, and I do understand what the kids are saying. It's quite a challenge to umpire a deaf game, because yes, you have a whistle, but you also have someone running around with a flag,
Yes.
and they sort of show them and everything. And the umpires that have umpired those games come back and they say, wow, that was an experience.
Yeah.
And it's important. We've also got the MID children coming to the schools champs, so that they can, and the deaf,
Okay.
so that they can also see how the rest of the world lives, and the rest of the world can see that there's other children like us. They just have different needs, and they're not different.
No, they're not.
Children are children.
Yes, true.
They have the same needs. They have the same passion. And it's important that our children get to see one another.
Sure. Are the numbers growing there as well?
Yes.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Last year at our national champs, we only had 4 teams of the schools that said they want to come. Now they have leagues, and so we've got 9 provinces coming to participate.
Sure. From your observation, how's the talent out there?
Well, I want to say the under-16 team we selected last week, man, I think they'll give the Proteas a good run for their money. Oh, man, those kids were just absolutely amazing. You know, because I go and sit and watch when the trials happen. I'm the official timekeeper. Just so that I can watch and see and see the talent. And it just makes one excited to see what's coming through. And yeah, wow, I was blown away. In fact, the people that were watching said seldom have they seen a group of young people that have played so well. Any of those kids could have made the team. And it's sad that you can only choose 12.
Yeah.
I don't know if the talent is the same. Yeah, I haven't watched much netball. I've watched a couple of games. But we'll see on tomorrow when they have their trials what the trials look like.
Man. The under-21s will be going, the South African under-21s will be going to Gibraltar. There's a whole lot of talent there as well.
10 of those children were in our national team last year.
Yeah. You guys are doing amazing.
So we are trying to feed in. And yeah, there are those, as I say, that fall by the wayside, but we're proud of them. And
yes.
And the other 5 were children that have been part of the school structure. They may not have been part of the national teams or anything. So we know they're going to do well. Because in fact, in the past, before COVID, because we used to send an under-19 team to the Pacific Games in Australia, New Zealand. We were also in Fiji one year and whatever. And our teams do incredibly well as school players against the other countries. So, yes, I've got high hopes of our team bringing home a gold medal.
There's parents that still feel sports is just a hobby. You need to focus on your books, blah, blah, blah. What would you like to say to the parents that still don't see the opportunities that come with sports? Yes, not every player or child will be selected, but there are opportunities in sports.
No, there's a lot of opportunities. I mean, there's sport careers. There's careers in administrating. There's careers in officiating. And to those parents who still just see sport as a hobby, I'm saying, guys, don't deprive your children of opportunities that can be. You know, I've got a saying in my life, which I always quote, and it says, in one failure, 1,000 successes. I mean, in one success, 1,000 failures may lie forgotten.
Oh.
But in one failure to try, 1,000 successes might prematurely die.
Guy, thank you so much. I can tell that teaching is within you. I feel like I can listen to you, for longer. But thank you so, so much for making the time to chat. But most importantly, thank you for having the passion that you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that was the South African Schools Netball President, Woolley. Till we do it again, it's a wrap.